how can I improve my English very, very quickly, right? And you might have that question too. So right now I'm going to tell you about that. And it's really easy, actually. A lot of people just don't know where to start, and so they ask this question. And my answer is, well, first, you need to start by knowing what you want. See, a lot of people don't know what they want, and that makes it difficult for them to get what they want, right? To get the result that they want. And if you want to get the best result possible when you're studying English, then number one, you need to focus on the things that you want. You need to know what you want. You need to have goals. Have your goals for learning English. And when you've got goals for learning English, it's going to make it so much easier for you to get results. So, okay, what do I mean by goals, and what do I mean when I say all these things that I'm saying, right? Well, first of all, what I mean is you should decide why you're learning English. Some people learn English to travel abroad, to travel to another country, just to travel in general, right? Some people are studying English so that they can pass an exam or take some kind of standardized exam, and they can then travel to another country, live in another country, or maybe even study or work in another country. Maybe that's you. Some people want to learn English for their business because you can reach more customers if you speak English. And some people are just studying English because they like languages, right? Maybe that's you too. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because if you want to know how to learn English the fastest way, then the first thing you need to do is you need to understand why you need English in the first place. You see, if you study general English, but you only need English to travel, then maybe you're wasting your time. Maybe you don't need to study for so long in order to know how to order things at a restaurant. Or maybe there's a better program for you. Maybe you can study just the things you need when you're traveling, and that's it. And in fact, if that's what you want, if you're into traveling and you're studying English because you want to travel, then click the link under this video, and I have a special course called Travel English that you can join. But that's a secret. I'm not supposed to tell anybody about that. So let's not talk about that too much. So the next thing that you need to know is after you've decided why you're studying English, what your goal is. Maybe you want to pass an exam with a certain score, like the IELTS exam or the TOEFL exam. Maybe your goal is to get a job in another country. Maybe your job is to enter a university in another country. There's a lot of different reasons that people study English, and there isn't one that's better or worse than all the others. So it's really important to know what you want, and then you can try to get it. Okay, so after you've decided what it is that you want, the next step is you need to make a plan. Most of my students, or most of the people who come to me and they say, Chris, I want you to teach me English, most of those people, they don't have a plan. Maybe they know why they need English. Maybe they know in general what they want to get from their English studies, and maybe they have some idea of what success looks like. But most of them don't have a plan. And when I say they don't have a plan, what I mean is that they only think about the result and they don't think about the process of how they can achieve that result, how they can get there. So how do you make a plan? Let's use the example of studying for the IELTS exam, just for example. So a plan includes knowing how many new words you need to learn, and then understanding each day, I need to do this how many times? How many words do I need to learn every day? How many chapters of my IELTS textbook do I need to study every day? Right? So you need to break down your goal so you know what you need to do every day, every week, every month, so that you can reach your goal. And breaking down your goal into daily pieces will make it so much easier for you to actually do it. So this is what a plan should look like. Your plan should be how you're going to achieve your big goal by taking daily actions and small steps. So, after you've got a goal, you've got a plan, what do you do next? Well, now you need to take action. This is the part where a lot of people just stop, right? And maybe this is what stopped you in the past too. It's okay. It happens to all of us. Sometimes we lose motivation. That's okay. And maybe you need someone to help you get motivated to go further and keep going. That's what I help people with a lot, you know? And so one of the things that you want to do is you want to remember why you're doing this. Remember why you need English. Remember your goal. And remember what you want to get out of it, because that's really, really important. How are you going to motivate yourself if you feel like you're not really getting anything, right? That would be a problem. That would be really difficult, because then you just won't want to study. Oh no, it's dark in this room. Ah. Because you won't want to study if you don't have any motivation, right? So we have a goal. For example, I want to study in another country. Then we have a plan. In order to do this, I need to pass the IELTS exam, and in order to pass the IELTS exam, I need to really learn this material. So I'm going to break it down into, daily pieces. Every day I need to do this, every week, every month, etc., right? And then after that, we're going to motivate ourselves. How can I stay focused? How can I take action every day? Now, you might be thinking, Chris, this is great. It sounds more like psychology than language study, right? It sounds great, but Chris, I do that and I don't have the results, so what's the problem? Well, you're right, because most people out there, I would say 95% of people out there, maybe more, they think that that's it. They think that that's the whole thing that they need to do, and there's nothing else. They think, I have a goal, I have a plan, I took action, and they forget step 4. Step 4, analyze your results. Look at your results honestly. Honestly, it's really important that you do it honestly, because a lot of people look at their results and they say, look at me. I made a plan to learn 20 new words every day. Every day I learned 5 new words. At least I did something, right? And they think that this is a good job, that they've done a good job, and now they're still going to reach the result that they wanted to reach. No. If you said 20, you do 20 or more, not 5. So you need to look at your results. You need to be honest with yourself. Did I really do what I said I was going to do? With my results now, will I really get the result that I want to get? Be honest, right? You have to ask yourself that question. You have to be honest with yourself. So let me remind you one more time. There's 4 steps that you should follow. And this process of 4 steps will help you learn anything, including English, as quickly as possible. This is the fastest way to learn or do anything. First, set a goal. Second, plan to achieve the goal. Third, take action to achieve the goal. Fourth, honestly analyze your results. And then after you've analyzed the results, you can see if it was positive or negative, what you need to do more, what you need to do less. And then you do this process again. Now, for those of you who don't know what this process is called, I like to call it the scientific method. Maybe you've heard of it before. It's very popular and a lot of people use it because it works. So if you're still wondering how you can learn better English, how you can do it very quickly, like in 30 days, then I have a very big free seminar that you can join. The link is under this video. Just click the link, register for the next seminar. The next one's starting very soon. And I will explain in detail how to get the best results possible. Right? In this video, 10 minutes or something, I can't really explain it to perfection. But in our seminar, I do. So go over and join the free seminar if you haven't watched it already. And after you've joined the free seminar, and if you like what you hear there, you can also join my speaking course. So I have a special program called Everyday English, where we speak English every day, and you can join any time of the day. We have lessons all day. And we have lots of students from all over the world and professional teachers from all over the world, but almost all of them are from English-speaking countries, and all of them are professional, native-level speaking teachers. And I think that this program will really help you solve a lot of your English problems. And here's why. A lot of people think they need grammar and writing and speaking and listening and everything else, pronunciation and phonetics and punctuation. Well, yes, to be absolutely 100% correct in any language, you need those things. But are you 100% correct always in your language? Do people really speak like robots? And are people really correct all the time? No, people are never correct 100% of the time. So we need to learn the real language. And the real language comes from communicating, from sending information from one person to another. And that's what our speaking program focuses on, to give you the knowledge that you need to communicate in English with anybody, anywhere, any part of the world. And that's what you'll find here. You'll find students from every part of the world, and you'll find amazing teachers who are ready to speak with you at all hours of the day. Really, anytime you join, there's a lesson. So it's really, really great. So again, if you want to join any of these programs that I've talked about or my free seminar, you can click the link under this video. And I hope that this video helped explain that 4-step process for you and that you'll be able to start using it. Because that process is the same thing that I use when I learn things, and that's what my students use, and that's what everybody uses, and that's the best way to do it. So just to review, set a goal, create a plan, take action on the plan, analyze your results honestly, do it again. All right, I hope that you really liked this video, found something useful here. If you did, go ahead and write a comment, press like, and press subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. In this video, I'm going to help you learn more vocabulary, learn grammar, and remember it for a very, very long time. Now, a lot of people ask me this question. They're like, Chris, okay, I've learned a lot of words, I've learned a lot of grammar, I know how to speak English a little bit, but I always forget things. So what can I do? Well, in this video, I'm going to answer that question, and I'm going to give you the best strategy ever. In fact, it's something that you've probably never thought of before. But before we continue, make sure you press that subscribe button down below and you hit the bell so that you can get notifications every time a new lesson comes out on this channel. There's over 500 lessons on this channel, and there's more all the time, so make sure you hit that bell and make sure you press subscribe. Now, a lot of people don't realize that there's a very simple way for them to really learn a language on a deeper level. And if you're studying English right now, or any other language really, then this technique is going to help you so much. I am a strong believer that the best way to help yourself is by helping other people. When you help other people, you get something that you just can't find anywhere else. It's really a sense of fulfillment, a sense of happiness and joy. And when you help other people, you really are helping yourself. You develop a new side of yourself and you learn something about yourself. And this technique is all about helping other people, and that's what I love about it. So if you really want to learn English and remember English, remember the things that you learn about English on a much deeper level, then the best way for you to do that is to become a teacher. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be a teacher like me. I'm not saying you have to do it for 10 years. I'm not saying that you have to charge money for it. I'm not saying that you have to do any of those things. You don't have to be a professional teacher. But what you should do right now, if you really want to learn the language and you really want to remember everything that you're learning, what you want to do right now is you want to find somebody who knows less English than you. Now, there's a lot of people out there who have less opportunities than us. We can always find someone who needs our help, someone who knows less, and we can help them. And the best way that you're going to help other people in English is by teaching them something that you've already learned. And this might be something that you just learned today, or it might be something that you think that you've known for a long time. And let me explain exactly how this works. You might be thinking, but Chris, that is just me teaching other people English, that's not helping me. But you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong if that's what you think. teaching other people and helping other people is actually going to help you so much. Here's how it goes. When we learn new information, first of all, we just look at it and we say, okay, what is that word and how do I say it usually? Most people don't ask the deeper question, when do I say it and why do I say it? But the first thing that we learn is what and how. What is this word? What does it mean? And how do I say it? Or maybe how do I translate it? And after we do that, then we start to use the process that we learn about the language, grammar and other things, and we start to use it to speak or to write or to produce the language. So first we learn something, then we try to use it ourselves. But if we just try to use it ourselves, we get stuck, right? We forget things. And it's hard to keep trying to use it because our idea in our head, what we see, or our mental representation, that's what and how. It's just the things that we saw or that we heard from other people. And then it's our process in our minds of trying to use it. So we see something, we have something, and then we try to use it, right? But then when we go to the next step and we teach someone else how to use it and we teach someone else what it is, then we make rules. We make new rules in our minds. Maybe we knew these rules already, but we didn't have to explain them to someone else. When we explain them to someone else and we prepare to explain them to someone else and we start to connect all of the dots in our minds so that another person can learn this and understand this, when we do that, it really makes this idea so much stronger in our own minds, and it gives us a very clear picture of how this thing works. So the best way for you to remember what you're learning in English, to remember new words that you learn, new vocabulary that you learn, and to remember really anything that you learn, is to teach it to someone else. And you might be thinking, Chris, it's just too easy. Why did you even make this video? Well, it's not that easy. You need to go find that person and then you need to make a commitment. Make a promise. Tell this person, once every day I'm going to send you a new word. Once every week, we're going to talk for 10 minutes. Once every month, I'm going to give you an hour lesson. Try it. You only need to do this with one person to start out, and you only need to do it as much as you feel comfortable. But I guarantee that from the first time that you do it, you are going to understand the power of teaching what you've already learned. So if you really want to remember what you learn and you really want to master English, then you need to become a teacher. All right? And understand what that means. It doesn't mean you need to be like me. You don't need to make YouTube videos or anything crazy like that. What you need to do is help yourself by helping other people learn the language yourself and then help other people learn it. That's what it's all about. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to press that subscribe button down below. Hit the bell for all of the notifications because there's going to be much, much more that you're going to get from this channel. And by the way, if you want to study English with me and other native speaking teachers and professional teachers and other students from around the world, join our Everyday English course. Just go to my website, chrisamericos.com. and you can join the Everyday English course and you can speak English every day for 60 minutes about different topics every day with native speakers. So this is really a great opportunity for you to get speaking practice every day. So thank you so much again for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye. I'm going to tell you how you can teach yourself English by speaking with yourself. I'm serious. It really works, and I'm going to explain how it works in this video. So before we get started, press like, press subscribe, share this video with your friends, and all of that other good stuff that people usually say. So let's jump right in. This video is about English and how you can learn English by speaking with yourself. And I don't mean that you need to just walk around talking to yourself like, hey Chris, let's practice some English. Well, Chris, nice to meet you. Oh, hi, Chris, nice to meet you too. I don't mean to be like a crazy person, right? We don't have to talk to ourselves like that. But what I'm talking about is understanding why we are using English Of course we're using English to communicate. Of course we're using English to achieve some kind of result. But a lot of people forget about that result, and if they focus on it, they can teach themselves a lot of English, and they can practice English with themselves, and it will really help them. A lot of people think that practicing by yourself won't help you learn a language, but it's really the opposite. Practicing by yourself is the most important time. The time that you spend with a teacher, the time that you spend doing exercises online or from a book or watching YouTube videos or like this video, right? The time you spend doing that is way less effective, much less effective than the time that you spend doing work on your own. When you're doing it on your own and by yourself, you get to think about it so much differently. You get to process this information differently, and you get a lot more out of it. Because when you're interacting with someone, or when you're just focusing on something else that's happening, then you observe and understand a lot less of it than when you do it and observe it, right? So today, let's look at English as a tool, an instrument. English is an instrument that we use to achieve something. For some people, they're trying to use English to find love, right? There's a lot of people who speak with their significant other, the person who they love. They speak to this person in English, and they might be from different countries, but they use English to communicate. So for them, it's about love. It's about their family, maybe someone in their family speaks English and they need to speak it too. Maybe you were just born speaking English, right? And you like this, and all your family speaks English, right? So there's lots of different reasons. But for some other people, English isn't part of their life, and English is really something that they use to make money. English is part of their job. It's part of their career. To achieve a high level in their career path or in their industry, they might need to know English at a high level. And so the reason for studying English then is different, and the result that we want to get out of studying English is going to be different too. So before we really understand how to study English ourselves and the best way to teach ourselves English and practice English with ourselves, the best way to do that first is to understand how we are using this instrument, how we are using this tool that is called the English language. How we're using this instrument, this tool called the English language, and what we're going to do with it, what result we want to achieve. So once we know that, then we can practice this activity in a more specialized way, in a more focused way, on exactly the things that we need to improve on immediately or short term. So by doing that, we're going to be able to improve our skill level for that specific thing very quickly. We'll be more effective at that because we specialized in that thing. And so when we're trying to build any kind of skill, this works. Now, when you're building this skill, of course, practice makes you better at it. And how can you practice English? You need to find someone to speak with, right? That's why we have speaking programs at my website, chrisamericos.com. Okay, I'm done with the commercial. If you don't have someone to practice with like that, then you can practice with yourself. And by imagining this conversation, imagining what people will say to you, and then imagining your answers and actually saying your answers, having the conversation yourself, will help improve your skill. Basketball players do this. They imagine shooting the basketball into the basket. They imagine it without a ball, and they imagine it when they're sitting, and when they're laying down, and when they're standing up. They close their eyes, they imagine it. And then when they shoot later, they make more of their shots. Golfers do this. All sports people do this. At a high level, there are trainers and there are coaches to improve their ability. They need to focus on specific movements and skills, and they need to imagine it in their mind and practice it all the time like that. So it's exactly the same with English. Specialize, find exactly the result that you need to get, how you're using this instrument, this tool, and then you can focus specifically on the things that you need to improve to get a great result right now. So thanks a lot for watching this video. Don't forget to press like, subscribe, share, and all of that great stuff. And I hope to see you again very soon, maybe in one of our lessons or in another YouTube video here. All right, take care, have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another live video with Chris Americos. So, which words do you need to know to speak English, and which words do you need to know to speak with other people? So, today I'm here in my living room on my sofa, and it's a very comfortable Friday live video for anybody who's watching. All right, so there's two things that you should know about this video today. The first thing is you can write your questions, you can ask your questions, and you can just write them in the comments to this video. All right, so I see one person has written a question already. Pasquale writes, how do I read the word Q? I'm from Italy. Hi, Pasquale from Italy. So this word is Q. It's pronounced the same as the letter Q. All right? Great. So yeah, if you want to ask questions, just write your questions in the comments and I will try to answer them for you. And usually I can answer them because I am a professional teacher. I have been teaching for about 10 years and I just love teaching English. So I do it every day. I have lessons with students every day. I have online courses for students and for teachers. And if you are a student and you want to improve your English, I have courses for you too. And I see a question here. I've been teaching for almost 10 years. Is that grammatically correct? Yes, it is. It is present perfect. So this is I have been teaching, present perfect continuous. I have been teaching for 10 years. And that's true about me. And I see another question here. How do I differentiate the pronunciation of save and safe? So, okay, here's the answer. Save, S-A-V-E, with the letter V, this is save, with vibration in our pronunciation. And the other word, safe, with F, this is with air, not vibration. So save and safe. Okay, now let me answer the question about phrasal verbs, because this is a really good question, okay? Yeah, first of all, phrasal verbs. There are 3 categories of phrasal verbs that we need to talk about, 3 grammatical categories. And this is step 1, learn the grammatical categories. Step 2 is understand why phrasal verbs are difficult. So phrasal verbs are difficult because native speakers believe that they are easy. Because the words are very small, native speakers usually think that they're easy. And most native speakers aren't teachers of English, so they don't know that it's difficult. Step 3 is that phrasal verbs, you need to understand that phrasal verbs they usually have 2 different meanings. So there's usually at least two meanings of a phrasal verb. There's a metaphoric meaning and there's a directional meaning. So we could give lots of examples of this. Almost every phrasal verb has at least 2 meanings. And then the 4th step is that when you're learning phrasal verbs, don't try to learn the verb and then all of the different variations, the different types. Try to learn the small words, the particles with the phrasal verb, okay? So, for example, we could say to go in, to go up, to go around, to go through, right? We could just say go, 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 plus another word. We don't want to learn phrasal verbs like this. We want to learn phrasal verbs by understanding what does up mean with phrasal verbs? What does through mean with phrasal verbs? Okay, because then we can use these small words with lots of different verbs. Okay, that's the best way to learn phrasal verbs. And for you guys who are asking about phrasal verbs, I have 367 videos about phrasal verbs on my YouTube channel. So if you click on the video right now, the video that you're watching where I'm speaking to you, if you click on the video will open up and you'll see lots of links to all of my different pages, to my Instagram page, my Facebook page, my VK page, my YouTube channel. On my YouTube channel, there are 367 videos about phrasal verbs. So you can watch and learn a new phrasal verb every single day. Okay, so go to my YouTube channel, subscribe there, and watch all the lessons about phrasal verbs. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the words that you need to know to speak with people in English. So a lot of times people learn words and then they forget them, and there's so many words in a language that it's hard to understand which words we need to learn and which words we don't need to learn. So first of all, if you want to understand which words you need to learn, the first thing we need to do is think in your language first. Think in your language, your first language, your native language. And think about what you usually do. So what do you usually do when you speak to people? When you go to a shop, you plan or you think about something that you're going to say to the person before you speak to them, right? You say, okay, I'm going to ask how much does this cost, and then you're going to pick it up and you're going to say, how much does this cost? And then that's how you understand what you're going to say, right? Or for example, you go on the bus and you need to pay for a ticket on the bus. There's something that you say in your language. So first of all, think of what you usually say to people in your language. After that, it can be very easy to understand which words you need to know. So a lot of people, they don't really think about this first when they go to learn English. They just think, okay, I'm going to open an English book and I'll see all the examples there, and then I can just remember them and repeat them. But really, there's lots of words that maybe you don't even need to know at the beginning. Maybe you just need to know words that are important to you. Like if you're going to speak English at a job interview, then you should focus on words connected to a job interview. So you should focus on words that are connected to what you have in your experience, what you've done in your life, right? Your last jobs. If you were an engineer, you need to know some engineering words, and you don't need to know medical words. If you're a doctor, you need to know medical words. You might not need to know engineering words. So which words do you really need to know in English? Focus on those words, and those are the words that you're usually going to use in your language. So make a list of what you usually say in your language in different situations, and then you can focus on learning those words, and you don't have to waste time and energy learning stuff that you're not going to use. Let's see. We have a question. How do I understand you, but how do I know if I correct pronunciation? If I have correct pronunciation? Okay, so in our course, you get to speak and I will hear you. I'll see you and hear you. I can see how your mouth moves and I can hear the words that you say, the sounds that you make, and I can help you with pronunciation. Great, let's see. It says, what's your favorite grammar book? My favorite grammar book is Murphy, if you know what that is. It's called Essential Grammar in Use. All right, let's see. We have some other questions here. Are you British or American? Your accent is so clear, man. I can understand almost 80% what you're saying. I'm American. So both of my parents are American, and I have lived in the United States for a long time. I've lived in different countries too. I lived in Germany and Italy and Russia, and I've lived in different parts of the United States, Hawaii, Florida, that's where I am now, Florida, Ohio, Rhode Island, West Virginia. So I've been a lot of places, but every place I go, I've always loved languages, and I love teaching, so that's why I do this. Okay, Pili writes, why do I understand you perfectly? When I listen to others speaking English, I don't understand them at all. What's the difference? Okay, well, the difference is that I'm a professional teacher. I've been teaching for 10 years. There's a different way to speak when you're trying to speak clearly so people understand you, and when you're just speaking and just thinking and not trying to control what you say. So as a teacher, it's my job to speak so you understand me. right? That's what a good teacher does. But if you want to practice your speaking skills or pronunciation, I have a special course for anyone who wants to learn how to speak like a native speaker. So if you want to learn pronunciation and how to speak like a native speaker, I have a special course for you. It's called English Hacks. And right now, I am going to send the link to you in the chat. All right, there's the link. So if you click the link, you can join the pronunciation course and you can learn how to speak like a native speaker. All right, great. So again, there's lots of people writing here. Let's see, Rosa wrote a question mark and then she wrote laughing face. Great, Rosa. Awesome question. If you write your question, then I will be able to answer you. All right, let's see. Larissa says, what if one of your students has very poor understanding of the language and doesn't understand what you're saying and having trouble understanding each other? Well, Larissa, there are lots of strategies that teachers should use in this situation. I don't know if you wanted to ask about me personally, what I do in my course, or if you wanted to ask in general. So just let me know in the comments and then I'll answer your question. Let's see, great. Larissa says, for example, I want to learn English with you, but I don't understand very well what you tell me as I speak another language. Obviously, you don't speak my language, so you won't be able to teach me what a word means. Well, Larissa, the great part about the 21st century, the great part about the internet, is you can learn what words mean on the internet. If you want to translate a word from your language to English, there's a great thing called Google and Google Translate. So that's not what we do in our course. In our course, we help people speak. We give them resources that help them actually learn the language, know the language, and use the language. And from your comment, I can tell right now that you speak English well enough to be in this course, that you understand what I'm saying, and you have a very good way of writing English. I mean, the level of English that you wrote me with is very good. So you will definitely understand what I say in this course, and you'll definitely learn, and you'll definitely improve. All right? Let's see, what else? Gayson says, the best way for you to learn a new language is with a native teacher. Well, I think that having a native teacher definitely helps, but non-native teachers can be very good as well. So don't think that you can only learn with native speakers. I think that lots of teachers can be very effective. All right, we have another question. If a person doesn't understand the language, it's hard to learn. You need someone who can speak your language as well. So I agree that if you are a beginner or maybe elementary level student, if you're just learning the language, just starting, then I think it's better to have a person who speaks your language as well. If you're pre-intermediate or higher, then you need to speak more in English. You need to have more time in English, speaking English and using English. And you can learn how to use a dictionary very quickly, or a translator. And then you can use those tools or those instruments to help you in your studies with someone who doesn't speak your language. And actually, this helps you to break that barrier. Because if you're stuck only speaking with people who know your language too, then maybe this is a barrier for you. Maybe you have a problem with understanding the language and being in a situation where you might not be able to say what you want to say, right? When there's a person who speaks your language too, then you can always go back and you always know that if I don't know something, I can just say it in my language and they'll just tell me the answer. But when you speak to someone who doesn't know your language, you have to really use English to communicate. So that's a good point there. Okay, great. We have lots of other questions coming in.
Great, great, great. Larissa says, it's not for me. I'm asking for someone else. Thank you for your patience. No problem, Larissa. No problem. But this is my advice, and lots of people ask this question, and I think that for some levels, for low levels of English, it's better to study with someone who speaks your language too. I think that's true. What is English for you? That's a good question. For me, English is a language. It's a tool. It's an instrument that we use around the world to make the world a better place. It's why it's so great that you're here today with me. And it's so great that we have great teachers. And teachers help students become great people. And students help the world become a great place. And that's what English lets us do because we have less miscommunications and more understanding. Okay, next. Juan says, I think the best way that you can learn English is involving that language with a native teacher and without translations. You know, there are different methods, and I think that one way is that putting yourself in a situation where you don't have the option to speak your language, right? We call this immersion. This is a really good way to do it. Let's see. Christian says, English is a language, not a measure of intelligence. Very well said. Very well said. I agree with you. Please, Chris, do not ignore me. How can you learn slang by teaching? Okay. Graziella, I see your comment. Thank you. And how can you learn slang? Well, the first question I have for you, Graziella, or sorry, your name is probably Graziella, right? It looks like you have an Italian name. Graziella, the way that you can learn slang, first of all, you need to answer this question. Why do you need slang? A lot of people, slang is fun, slang is interesting, but honestly, when you're first learning a language, you need to learn the basics. And slang is something that's only going to make learning the basics take a longer time, honestly. Honestly, you don't need slang. You'll learn slang when you speak with different people. And when you go to different English-speaking countries, there's different slang. So when you go to the United States, different slang. England, different slang. Scotland, Ireland, different slang. Australia, different slang. Okay? There's different slang in each country. So if you're going to learn slang, first of all, why learn it? Because it's not the most important thing. Second, which country, what type of slang? And third, you're going to learn the slang by communicating with different people. And different people use different types of slang too. Okay? So you're going to learn slang just by communicating with people and learning their slang. That's the most important thing to understand about slang. And I see that you say, I need slang because when I speak English with Oxford pronunciation, they don't understand me. Well, I understand what you're saying. Honestly, you don't need slang for this. What you need is you need to speak more naturally. Right now, you're speaking like a book. That's what I understand from what you tell me. Lots of students have this problem. They speak like an English book. They don't speak like an English person. And I have a special course that shows you how to improve your pronunciation and how to speak like a native speaker. It's called English Hacks, and I'm going to send the link again in the comments right now. English Hacks pronunciation course. And it'll show you how to speak like a native speaker, and it will tell you about slang and what you need to know about that and other parts of the language that you need to understand to speak like a certain type of native speaker. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being here, and I hope to see you in the course. And have a great day, all right? Keep learning English and keep making the world a better place. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being here, and I hope to see you in the course. And have a great day, all right? Keep learning English and keep making the world a better place.